Black face DNA. Blue Chambers Productions. Black face DNA.
Barter trade by barter. But then the major commodity that the Portuguese were interested was gold. So it is said that the rate at which the locals were exchanging gold for the goods that the Portuguese brought gave them the impression that this village could be in abundance of gold. So they based on that very impression to name this town Elmina in Portuguese. It simply means the mine or the gold mine. But then the locals could not pronounce Elmina properly. So they corrupted Elmina to Elmina. Today, this town is commonly known as called Elmina. That is a corrupted Portuguese word. Another thing, it is said that anytime the Portuguese were coming here, they said they were coming to idia in their own language, meaning village. Idia has also been corrupted to Edina, and it is also another common name of this town. You see, very many people think that Edina is the local name of Elmina, which is never so. As I told you, traditionally, this town was called Pamampa Kru. That is Pamampa's town. Pamampa is the name of a person. Kru simply means town or village. This town was actually founded by a man called Pamampa. As tradition demands, the town was named after Pamampa's town. Another thing, when Pamampa arrived here for the first time, it is said that he named this place Inexhaustible Water. Water that does not finish. And it's a name that he gave to that river, this Benya Lagoon, he founded it for the first time. He named it Benya, but he said he called the area Inexhaustible Water because he drank water from that stream, and the more he drank water from the stream, the more some came. But he thought it would finish. So, inexhaustible, in my language, in my local language, is Anon and San. Anon and San. Ornaments and water that does not finish. So these two names, these two local names are the indigenous names of this time before the arrival of the Portuguese. As I told you, you now go by the wrongly pronounced Portuguese words. Elmina also. Now, in the year 1482, that is 11 years after the incursion of the Portuguese, they found it prudent to establish a permanent lodge for their merchandise. And simply because the trade was then flourishing. So there we have a Portuguese by name Don Diogo de Zambuja. He was appointed by King John II of Portugal to lead a claim to this land. So if they said that they actually arrived here on 19th January 1482. In actual fact, Don Diego de Alexandria came in a fleet of 12 ships, full of building materials, and also 600 workmen, made up of masons, carpenters, and some other artisans. They saw the then sixth chief of the town for this land, and the chief was called Nana Kwamna Kweja Asa the first. He was the sixth chief. He gave them this land. You see, they actually they got permission before building a castle on this land or this area. So he gave them land based on proper agreement. It is said that initially he was not happy. He was not ready to give the land to them. I wish I can quote what he said. He said, friends are better apart than staying together. Maybe they had different minds of trying to come in to stay here. So initially he was not ready to give, but upon some persuasion and so maybe some gifts, and also some promises that they were not here to trade in any or to do any bad thing. Finally, the land was given to them. So construction or building of this castle started on 21st January 1482. As I said, under the leadership of Don Diego de Alexandria. For sure, the idea was to just create a fort where they could sleep and so where they could keep their merchandise. So this castle actually started as a fort. All the huge structure or all the parts were not built at the Polo. They started with a very small size. They actually, and it took them 4 years to complete the first phase. It is said that they named it upon completion. They named it after their Saint Patron in Portugal. He was called. Again, I should say that King John II again ordered Don Diego de Alexandria to name this castle after St. George, who was their patron. And the ground floor rooms were initially used as storerooms, where they kept their merchandise. And they were leaving the rooms above. We today call it Elmina Castle. I believe is because of the name of the town. But the actual name is the one I just mentioned, this castle. But the Portuguese went on trading in goods for some years, for not less than 20 years before the transatlantic slave trade started. You know that transatlantic slave trade started in the early 16th century, not long ago, when Columbus and his people got to Americas. They needed people to work on their plantation. It is that they started using the Native Americans called Americans or Reddies. But the story says European diseases and also overwork decimated the indigenous population. So common sense and humanity dictated that the killing of the natives should stop. Yes, they stopped using them. It was then that another need came for them to look for another source of labor to replace the natives. So looking for an alternative brought about Africans, like some people decided, some people suggested, please. Many were those who gave suggestions to get people to replace the natives. And I think the very person whose name is always mentioned is the one called Bartolomeo de las Casas. His name is always mentioned because of his position. He was a Catholic missionary. Apart from him, Nino Tristan also seconded that they should come to Africa, or they should go to Africa and pick people from Africa to that end. So it was in the year 1510 that some Africans were taken from Spain to his part, Europe. The country is now called Haiti. That was where those people were trapped. In line with what the priest suggested, they were strong and so fit enough to do the work. So it is that from that very time coming, the demand for Africans started coming in. And that tended to be the beginning of the trans. Anyway, Bartolomeo de las Casas might have read somewhere. The Africans were strong and also really farmers. Again, by that time, some explorers had gotten to this part of the world, so they had fair idea of the continent also. So when they were tried, they were, yes, it clicked. They saw that, yes, they were fit and they were so good for that purpose. That actually brought about the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. It is said that after knowing that Africans were fit enough to do the work, from that very time coming, the demand for them actually started coming in, and as I said, that actually tend to be the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. So yes, when the transatlantic slave trade started, the same ground floor rooms that were used as storerooms were converted into dungeons. According to history, a maximum of 1,000 captives were kept in this castle. I believe when transatlantic slave trade was at its peak, see, about 600 men were kept in the main quarter. This is the yard. Talking about the surrounding rooms, the ground floor rooms. I mean, this one was a church. Nobody was kept here because he was a slave. And somewhere along the line, human beings were put here and sold. About 400 women were always separated from the men. They were kept in the inner courtyard, simply to prevent occupation. You see, the Portuguese, they went on trading in slaves till the time transatlantic slave trade. Sorry, before they were here till the time the castle was captured from them by the Dutch. So finally, in the year 1607, Dutch were able to capture the castle from the Portuguese after taking 2 unsuccessful attacks in 1586 and 1625 respectively. So they made it, they succeeded in 1607. They repaired all the destroyed parts, opened the dungeons to contain more captives. And since slave trade was in practice, they also continued. So I would say that once a trade was initiated, it became self-perpetuating. Yes, they still here traded in slaves till the time transatlantic slave trade ended. So when the transatlantic slave trade ended, Dutch were then here. It ended late 1860s, early 1870s. You see, after the abolition of slave trade, illegal trade continued. And the illegal trade shifted the whole thing to late 1860s, early 1870s before it totally ended. Now, when it ended, Dutch were not making profit. That was of no use to them. Because they were not getting human beings, I mean slaves, captives. And also they were not getting other trading goods. So they willingly sold this castle to the British in 1872. And that does not suggest that the British did not take part in the transatlantic slave trade. They did. We have another castle in Cape. That was where the British traded slaves. But then when they came here, they used this castle as their sub-administrative center. 1939 to 45, again, we also men from English-speaking West Africa countries. They trained those people here in this castle. They sent some of them to India. Others were sent to Burma to fight for them. And that very group was called Royal West African Frontier Force. See, 3 years after the Second World War, that was in 1948, British converted this castle into police training school. In the year 1957, that is 63 years ago, this country, Ghana, had independence from the British. When we had independence, this country was not called Ghana. It was then called Gold Coast. One of the founding members, called Dr. J.P. Dampa, suggested that it should be taken. That's why the country is free. So we took over from the British in the year 1957. And all the forts and castles in Ghana were designated as World Heritage Monuments by World Heritage Foundation and the UNESCO. This particular one is the oldest and also largest in the world in terms of transatlantic. It is 538 years. 538 years. That's from 1482. This is just a brief history about the castle. As I told you, it's a walking tour. So in no time you walk. As you are going, you are permitted to ask questions. You can take pictures, and I can see that some people are peacefully and happily videoing me. Also videoing me. Please, any question?
I think that with all the mention of Ghana has been the scene of the slavery. I've gone around a few places. I haven't seen any monument dedicated to the slaves. I don't know, I haven't seen. If you go to Freetown, they have that monument and so on. So if there is none, is there plans?
Really? Even in Freetown, Sierra Leone, slaves were rather brought there. You see, after the abolition of slavery, British officially abolished it in 1807. And the Dutch followed it in 1849. And when they abolished it, some people were still trading slaves. So they set up a naval patrol team on the Atlantic Ocean, and they rescued those who were being transported across the Atlantic Ocean and arrested those who were still engaging in slavery. So those who were rescued, some of them were sent to Freetown, so Liberia, some were sent there. Now, to answer your question, or to add something to what you asked, in Badagry in Nigeria, yes, some people were housed or kept there and transported. In Senegal, Kuri Island, some were taken from there. We have gate of Notre or project Notre there. Then the homemade today, Benin, I just recently, not just today, about 15 minutes before starting the tour, I read it, I saw it that Benin has launched Gate of 10. Yes, I'm here to read something like that. So, yes. When you go to Angola, Cameroon, they are somewhere also taken from there. Even South Africa, some were taken from there. So, yes. But talking about West Africa, this place, this country, that's where a lot of Africans were being transported from. Some were even brought from different countries, Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin, before they were shipped off.
I was asking about the monument dedicated to.
For sure, this in Ghana or in some other.
No, in Ghana.
In Ghana, this is one of the UNESCO's World Attraction Site or World Heritage Site. I don't know if I'm getting your question.
He's talking of
a monument.
Yeah, a monument, something. Yeah.
For sure, that one maybe they are yet or we are yet to do it. We don't have something like that.
If you go to Gorée Island, you see they have.
Yes, and you see, people like you can help, or you see, if you suggest, yes, so please, I'll be so happy that if we say it, they will not consider it. But you see, we have some people, when they say it, it carries weight. So we need to have something like this. We should have something like this in Ghana, especially in Ghana. Thank you. This was a church. Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic Church. Hello. You are welcome. Yes, can you join us? It was actually a church, Catholic church for the Portuguese. You see, they were Roman Catholics. So this is the first church. The oldest church in then Gold Coast in now Ghana. But this same church was never used by the Dutch when they killed. The question is why? Because they were Protestants. And being Protestants, they never used the Catholic Church. They divided it into two. They used the top as a soldier's mess. This place, they used it as auction hall, slave market. Human beings were put here and sold before they were put in the dungeons. That's when the Dutch were here. But finally, when they sold it to British, they used it as classrooms. This is a museum today. It has gone through 4 transitions. It started as a church. It started as a church, to slave market, to school, and now it is a museum. It's a self-guided museum. So after the tour, if you still want to come here, it's a self-guided. You can read before you go. And if you have any question here, you look for Nana, I'll still be at your service. The walking begins. We have a lot to see. We have a training school. So they are policemen climbing up and down simply to build their muscles. And you see, apart from Portuguese church, at the other end we can see two cells or two rooms. If the doors are open, they are simply cells. And human beings, some people were put there because of what they did. So they were cells, they were not dungeons. One was more than a dungeon, that one was a condensed cell. You go there. So apart from the Portuguese and Jewish cells, the other ground from rooms were converted into dungeons for the main captives. In a maximum of 600 men were at the time shared and put in them, waiting for shipment. You know, the soldiers, the traders, and also the missionaries, they were staying in the first floor rooms, all around. And the second floor, that section, that was the deputy governor's quarters. But the third and the final floor was the governor's apartment. So it was a form of a hierarchy. For sure, wherever somebody lived was determined by the person's position. And they were actually far away from the stench coming from the dungeons. I know you will accept that condition in the dungeon was very, very bad. It was very, very bad because in the dungeon we can think of menstrual blood, talk about feces, vomit, urine. And in this poor condition, human beings were made to stay in for sometimes 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, to the time the ships came for them to be transported. We are talking about transatlantic slave trade. Now let me simply draw a line between the transatlantic slave trade and the trans-Saharan slave trade. Trans-Saharan slave trade preceded the Atlantic trade, or the Atlantic slave trade. And the trans-Saharan slave trade was mostly engaged in by the Berbers and also the Arabs. It took place in the northern part of Africa. Trans-Saharan slave trade was the one that took place down here in the early 16th century. Transatlantic slave trade was mostly engaged in by the Portuguese, the Dutch, the British, Danes, Swiss, and some others. Those who became victims during the time of trans-Saharan slave trade were transported across the Atlantic desert. Sorry, Saharan desert, please. Trans-Saharan slave trade, those who became victims were transported across Saharan deserts. Those who became victims in the Atlantic slave trade were transported across the Atlantic Ocean. So the very word we need to take notice of is the trans, and the next word, either Atlantic or Sahara. Across Sahara and across Atlantic Ocean. Let's continue to listen. So this is the section that the Portuguese pierced first. Initially, the ground rooms assembled used as stones when they were converted into dungeons when the transatlantic slave trade started. You see, back in those days, the entrances that are not having anything were then gated. They had iron gates. In the same way, the other ones having bars, they then had metal bars or iron bars, placed vertically and horizontally, simply to prevent the captives from escaping. Let's look at it.
How do they transport
They channeled, or they connected ceramic pipes to the roof, so they harvest it from the roof, and they use bucket and line to draw it.
So it comes in from certain points.
Yes, please. Even today we have this.
Ah.
Yes, that is not the original one. But listen.
Why were the iron bars changed?
Because of the sea breeze, they were getting less. I'll try my possible best to take you to one of the dungeons so you will see some of the original parts. Yeah.
Blue Chambers Productions. Blackface DNA. Chambers Productions. Blackface DNA.
No, there was light, but the captives were not giving light. If you say light, yes, they use lanterns or oil lamps, but the captives were not giving anything like that. You see, we are now in one of the famous dungeons, and that's the largest dungeon. This is the largest dungeon in the female slave section. 100 to 150 women were sometimes packed on the same floor. This is the original floor.
No toilet, no bath.
For toilet facilities, they put empty containers at where we can see
Like
one rig,
buckets or
a
something.
bucket was there, another one, another one. The same thing in the other dungeons. You know, into which the captives were expected to eat themselves.
They carried it out themselves.
Yes, but they were made to go with a soldier. Anytime it was thought that they need to engage, a soldier need to guide the person, for the person not to run away. Also, they were fed in the dungeon, just that something enough to sustain them from dying. Yes, they slept on this for how many days, for how many weeks, for how many months. That one depends on the arrival of the ships. So those who were not lucky and kept long here and suffered, they had to sleep on this for sometimes 30 days or more than 40 to 50, 60 days. That's 2 months before they were being transported. Sleeping on this, and therefore like this. And you know, they actually had to sleep on certain things. Certain things like feces, vomit, urine, and another one that I'm about to tell you. You see, something they had to put sand on it, and another batch put here. We can't forget menstrual blood, because as women they also had their menses. Talking about those who spend 2 months, they might have done it for 1 or 2 times, 2 occasions without a wash. So that's what that we see very neat. Today was not like that. It was covered, not only this one, all. Yes, the first were covered with feces, vomit, urine, menstrual and human remains, and some other things. You see, naturally, some of the captives fell sick and died. Also, some committed suicide. Think about those who went hunger strike. Yes. And it is said that the dead bodies were picked. Whenever they found dead body in dungeon, they picked and dumped in the ocean. Another school of thought says they picked the body, they then tied a stone to the waist, and dumped in the ocean. And before we go outside from here, you see that room was provided to serve as additional source of ventilation and also light to this dungeon. Unfortunately, it was connected to another room called magazine where answers or other admission were kept. So anytime there was a leakage in the magazine, the polluted air also came to the hole, from the hole, and it also contributed to the number of people that died in this dungeon. Yes. We all know that this stretch of coast was called Gold Coast, because that is the mineral that they got a lot of gold from this stretch of the coast. So they termed it Gold Coast. When they shifted from gold to human beings, it became Slave Coast. The same way, if you go to Ivory Coast, because they got a lot of ivory, they named it Ivory Coast. This same stretch of coast that was called Gold Coast was later termed White Man's Grave. White Man's Grave. And it was termed White Man's Grave because of the rate at which they were dying of tropical diseases. So the Europeans did not come here with their wives. The female captives were raped. They were raped by the soldiers, the traders, and also the gardeners. Please come with me. At any given time, the gardener wanted to satisfy his lust. He came and stood at that very balcony. He ordered the soldiers to open the doors for the woman to come out, for him to make his choice. So that was where the gardener picked it from. And after making his choice, the soldiers, however, took order from here for her, for the chosen captive to take a shower, simply because that person was going to the gardener's quarters.
From where?
From this point. She was then taken from the private, please come, she was taken from the private access. Go to the gardener's quarters. And after the rape, they brought her back to join her friends. You know, some of the women became pregnant. According to history, those who were found pregnant were never sent to the New World. Rather, they were made to stay in the town to deliver, and the children were brought here for schooling. They themselves built houses in the town where some of their merchants were staying, and also those impregnated captives were made to stay to deliver. That is not all. It is said that some of the Dutch officials who did not want to rape a woman, they went to the town, customarily got married to some of the local people in the town. They raised children with them, they built stone houses there in the town where they stayed with their wives, and their children were also brought here for school. You see, such children had light skin, and it is common along the coast. You see, it is very common to see light skin along the coast. And apart from light skin, there are names, European names, Van Dyke, Vieira, Broom, Brown, De Geer, Bonham, Battles, Johnson, Davison, Simpson, Ferguson, Coulson, Texan, Bryson, Jackson, York, Mills. You see, a lot. Talking about the coastal communities where the Europeans settled. From Western region to Volta region, let's say coming from Western, we have, if you go to Bain, where they built Fort Apollonia, it's common to get such names there. Boutre, Axim, Princess Town, Disco, Shama, Commander, this place Elmina, Cape Coast, Anonabo, Kwamante. We're talking about Seigneur Breku, Accra, Nkren, Apam, Fort Patience, talking about Volta region, Fort Prison. Such names are common because the Europeans married some of them, yes, and also because of their connection, talking about the light guys and also European names. Now let's come back to the castle. Some of the female captives refused to be raped, and they were punished to serve as a deterrent to others who were in the dungeons. So out there, we can see a cannonball. You see, back in those days, 8 of such were here. You see, 8 of such balls were here back in those days. They made those balls special in the sense that they had chains on them And on the chains, they also had padlocks fitted on. So the female captives who refused to be raped were brought here. They tied those chains to their ankles and simply left them here in the form of a punishment. You see, as they were here, they were not given food, and so they were not given water. And also, whether raining or shining, they were here. That was a punishment, simply to put here in the others, simply to serve as a lesson to the rest. I should also tell you that some of the female captives were openly raped. They were raped openly to break their spirits down, especially the difficult female captives. Recently, we held an exhibition in this dungeon, the return of the slaves, 12 hours in the dungeon, 48 volunteers were actually dressed with some clothes that we see there. We changed them, we kept them there for 12 hours for them to have a feel of the whole thing. The return of the slaves, 12 hours in the dungeon, that's how the program was themed. That was the theme for that exhibition. The return of the slaves, 12 hours in the dungeon. Very, very important. We have it in a book. Whatever took place here been written in the book. We have the video tour of this castle, Cape Coast Castle, also at St. Martin's Slave Market, there for sale. We also have books on this for sale. We have children's books there for sale. For everybody or for anyone who wants a friend or a loved one somewhere to know. To take others from unknown to known, and sometimes from known to unknown. When the ships had come for the captives to be transported, the female captives were then made to come out from their dungeons. They detained all of them, and they were forced through that exit or through that tunnel to go to the room of no return. So come with me. Yes, the female captives were forced through this tunnel to go to the room of no return when the ships had come. You see, these iron bars were then not here, and also down there were stairs that they used actually to go there. And as they were going from here, their male counterparts were made to use different routes to go to the same room. And initially, when the Portuguese were trading goods, the sizes of these gates, this one and the other three, were wider than how they appear today. But they narrowed them. They reduced the sizes to control movement. Also to this one, this particular one, to get the captives easily and also accurately counted. The ocean was much closer to the castle back in those days, but now it has receded. You know, geologists attribute it to the movement of the earth. We also believe that it's because of human activities that normally go on here. And you see, though the ocean was closer to the castle, this part was not deep enough for the ships. So they simply berthed the ships far away from here. After berthing the ships there, they simply brought small boats down there to catch the captives from here to the ships, and the transportation continued. See, some of the captives were sent to Brazil. Others were sent to Suriname, Haiti, Java, Guyana, Bahamas, Sumatra, Jamaica, Cuba, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Colombia, Liverpool, Manchester. In fact, they spread all over the world. They cried a lot here because they realized that coming back was far from imagination. It was here that our ancestors finally said bye to their individual countries, the same way they said bye to their individual tribes. Apart from their countries and tribes, altogether, they said bye to Africa as a continent. But today, I think you and I, we need to be happy because the descendants are coming back. and Sankofa, which literally means go back to your roots, will forever be the motto for all the Africans in the diaspora. For sure, some were here yesterday, today some are here, tomorrow some are going to come. This really shows that our ancestors have returned. No wonder last year was a year of return. And I know they came in their numbers, and they are going to come. We saw some of the rape somewhere. In this particular room, we can see some other items. They were all brought by tourists to pay homage to our ancestors. So these are here for remembrance. Room of no return, that was then. It is no more called room of no return, it is called room of return, and for that matter, we are returning. So please, you can with me.
I got a question.
He has a question?
Okay.
You said it was separated like over here. Did they know who was going where, or it was just random?
No, you didn't know. But the companies, they knew where they were taking the slaves to. But the slaves didn't know where they were going. They never had any idea of where they were taking them to, what they were going to do, whether they would come or not. But they knew they were not going to come because nobody went and came back to tell them what was actually happening there. And some people heard it before they became victims. Because transatlantic slave trade went on for not less than 362 years. This is your question.
Yeah, you showed us the auction.
Yes, please.
Does that mean that were the merchants who actually participated in the auction also living here, or some could come and just buy and then go off?
The merchants were living here, but there were some African merchants who were sometimes bringing them to sell. Commonly, they were also bought from a market called Asin Mansun, a market which was not far from here, a town called Asin Mansun, where they had slave markets. Apart from that, going to in Saraga, there was a market. You see, there were slave market and slave routes linking the market, so it was something like a network. So there were buyers or merchants staying here, and there were some other African slave merchants who were also helping in bringing the slaves and also selling the slaves. I think Elmina, the Castle, and the slave trade book will give much detail. And also a history of indigenous slavery in Ghana. For sure, we have good books to take people deep down the history. Yes, please. Please, my head and come with me. This was where the man was buried.
Before you go though, you have this for family activities. Why don't you have for those who suffer?
You see, that one, we, if I say we, I'm talking about you and I. You and I mean Ghana or Ghanaians, we need to have this.
Yes.
The Europeans left this in the name of governance. So it's up to you and I to also have ours. So yes, help champion this.
Yeah. You go to Washington, they have the monument for the unknown soldier, the Vietnam Memorial, and all these things that we are in Ghana.
I need to do that.
Blue Chambers Productions. Black Face DNA. Blue Chambers Productions. Black Face DNA.
You know, this was for the European soldiers, mostly the Dutch soldiers who got themselves drunk and also those who went to the town without seeking permission from authorities. So this was a punishment room. You see, nobody actually died here. The idea was not to kill them. They simply wanted to discourage such character. So they provided windows for air and light. But come, please look at this one. The leaders of the freedom fighters. You know, they were recaptured from their dungeons, and they put them here and left to die. If you ask me the number of people that have died in this cell, truly I can't tell you the number, but I believe a lot of our ancestors were put here and left to die slowly, to serve as a lesson or to serve as a deterrent to others who are in the dungeon. So it is not for nothing that they put this skull and the crossbones there. It was to serve as a deterrent. It was to serve as a warning to them. Condemn, serve. Please come here.
Sign.
That when you go in, you are going to die.
That was the deputy governor's quarters. See the same for that section? That's the governor's quarters. We are going there. You see, this was the conference room for the Europeans.
Sorry.
Again, in the olden days, they put a pole at the center of the compass, and the shadow of the pole used to calculate time. So it served as a sundial. And here are some of the remains of cannon, or weapons that they used to defend themselves. You know, these are no more functional. They've been here for quite a long time, or not less than 350 years. And on top of the hill is Fort Sims Jago. That was built by the Dutch in 1665, 66. Some of the Dutch soldiers were there to protect this land. So they did not place that they started that even from the British. From the British. It's in the Green Book, you get to know that they built 2 watchtowers there because the British were in there to also fighting them. So they needed to protect themselves.
And I can't see any cannon balls here.
For here, you don't have a lot of them. You have some in some rooms, but you don't have them here.
I didn't think because they have.
Yeah, yes, the place has been decorated with some of them. You see, this part, this extension. This whole extension was made by the Dutch. Those rooms were maintenance shops. The other side was the artisans' apartment. Maintenance shops. This is the furniture. Dutch Reformed Church. They built this one after they had changed the Portuguese church to slave market. And right below here was a dungeon, but this was a church. Zion is the temple of the Lord. It is his dwelling place forever. That is Psalm 132, verses 14.
Dungeons below the church.
This one. So this was the Dutch governor's kitchen. Look, just this morning. So we are going to a governor's quarters, but you're not passing there. So let's take the other rooms. So these were the living rooms, also part of the governor's apartment, and the door to the washroom. So the governor had bedroom, he got living rooms, and also washroom. On the second floor, the same layout, the deputy governor also had bedroom, living rooms, and also washroom. And then the first floor rooms were the residences for the soldiers, the traders, and also the missionaries. But the ground floor rooms later became dungeons for the captives. Castle. They were all trading slaves, and also they were enemies. They were fighting for supremacy. So they simply built the watchtowers to protect themselves. Some of their soldiers were put out there to keep an eye on the British. But later, when the Dutch sold the castle to the British, as I said, transatlantic slave trade was over. The king, Nana Akwesi Agyemang I, was captured. He was a king. He was one of the Ashanti's greatest kings. He resisted British rule over the Ashantis. Again, he refused to pay 50,000 ounces of gold as war indemnity fund to the British. He was brought and kept in that room for 4 years with his family. After 4 years, he was exiled from here to Freetown in Sierra Leone for 1 year, and finally transferred to Seychelles Island in Indian Ocean. He spent 23 years there before they brought him back in 1924. He died in 1931. He died at the age of 59 years. And in this one was where Nana Ya Asantewa, we simply call her Ya Asantewa, was also kept. She led the Ashantis to fight the British. That was Ya Asantewa, 1900-1901. She was also brought, kept in this one for 1 year, and finally sent to Seychelles Island. Unfortunately, the Queen Mother died in Seychelles Island. As I said, this castle was built in 1482 by the Portuguese to serve as a trading post, and the Dutch finally succeeded in capturing it from them in 1607. They later sold it to the British in 1872. In the year 1957, this country, Ghana, had independence from the British, so it took over from 1482 to date. It's 538 years. The oldest and also the largest castle in the world in terms of transatlantic slave trade. This history, this story is never told to pass judgment. It's again never told for one to point accusing fingers at a friend. Yes, it's never told to open old wounds. For sure, it's never told to remember the suffering that our forefathers went through. But it's simply told to educate one another. In simple quote, it is because of education that is why the history is told. It is very true that we cannot change the past. But the little I know is that we can reflect on the past to create a better future. And to create a better future, You have a role to play, you have a role to play, you have, and I also have my role to play. I think if we come together, we can better achieve it. Because there's a saying that goes in English that united we stand divided. So let's go out, take information out. Wherever we find ourselves, if we see it happening in any shape or any form, let us be the first people to call others to come, so that any little thing we can do to stop it. And I think by so doing, evil of such nature, such a trait will never ever happen again. On that note, my name is Nana Boache Yado. Please, good afternoon, and here ends the talk. Thank you.
Chambers Production.